Welcome back, everyone. Now, first off, it's flu season again, and as cases of the CCP virus are resurging, many parts of the world are also bringing back lockdowns. Now, with this, I'm going to start giving updates again on the virus situation, while also making an effort to keep it succinct and to cut through some of the noise. Now, first off, you might remember that while Europe was keeping travel to the United States closed, it was planning to reopen travel with China. Now, part of that was based on the assessment of the CCP's claims that it has the virus outbreaks under control. But new lockdowns in recent news suggest the Chinese regime is again covering up the outbreaks. Now, Chinese authorities recently held a mass test of every person in Qingdao, which was around 11 million people. And afterwards, it told the world it found 0 new cases. Chinese state media is reporting that the CCP is, quote, leaving the world in awe with its rapid testing. But even local residents in China don't seem to believe the local authorities. Now, the Epoch Times has launched an investigation into these claims. They found that many people they've spoken to in phone interviews do not buy the CCP's claims again. An official at the Qingdao Municipal Center for Disease Control Prevention told the Epoch Times in a phone call to, quote, just trust the government, and added, quote, as long as it's been issued by the government, there should be no issues. Just put your mind at rest. Now, while it appears the CCP is downplaying the number of cases, meanwhile, it's also raising the alarm with the overall situation in China. The CCP is carrying out many large-scale testings like this. In Xinjiang province, for example, local authorities are testing 4.75 million people in Kashgar, and on that, they've reported just 138 new asymptomatic cases. Now, in response, the regime deployed a team to carry out nucleic acid tests, assessments, and what China News says is the, quote, investigation of key populations. Now, it's unclear what the meaning of that will be, but Xinjiang is the main home of the persecuted Muslim Uyghurs, so it's possible the, quote, key population is referring to them. Now, after the cases were reported, Chinese state media CGTN reported that many flights were canceled in Xinjiang at Kashgar Airport on October 24th. And while the CCP is reporting new virus cases in that region, the real number of confirmed cases is still really unknown. The regime's overall response in Xinjiang has been heavy-handed. You might have seen previous reporting we had on the lockdowns there. People being chained up outside their homes. People being punished publicly. People, for example, being forced to take medicine, unknown medicine, in front of Chinese authorities. Now, 4 townships in Kashgar were designated as high-risk areas on October 25th. And Kashgar is a city of 10 counties and 1 autonomous county. And if the virus outbreaks in that region were serious enough for the CCP to bring about new lockdowns, this may raise concern about travel during China's October holiday season. Now, Kashgar received around 744,200 tourists just recently. And also, more information is emerging on how the Chinese Communist Party covered up the virus outbreaks in the early stages, including through false reporting in medical journals. Dr. Li Mengyan, a Chinese virologist who has defected to the United States, told Newsmax on October 12th that the CCP was recruiting scientists and was working through overseas collaborators in a large-scale effort to fabricate information. She said this included attempts to mislead the public through false reporting in journals that include Nature, The Lancet, and the New England Journal of Medicine in order to again mislead the public. And meanwhile, many countries in Europe are now seeing record numbers of new infections. The Guardian reports that within 24 hours, the Netherlands reported more than 9,000 new cases. Poland reported more than 12,000 new cases. Germany reported 11,000 new cases. And similar outbreaks are being reported elsewhere in Europe. Now, in the United States, meanwhile, daily cases of the virus have allegedly surpassed 75,000. Responses to the virus are mainly being handled state by state. Now, New York City Governor Andrew Cuomo eased some of the lockdown restrictions, and he's also looking at a tiered approach to lockdowns based on the number of infections in each area. And California Governor Gavin Newsom is also easing some of the lockdowns. It's unclear, however, whether this will change. Now, part of the context of this is the protests and lawsuits against the lockdowns. In the United States, for example, there are many legal challenges to these lockdowns, including lawsuits in New York and other places against measures placed on places of worship, alleging these have been unconstitutional. And in Australia and many parts of Europe, there are also anti-lockdown protests. including in Melbourne, Dublin, Naples, and Berlin.